The very first episode of Hunter with the Scalpel wastes no time in getting dark and unsettling. It opens with a very eerie scene of a young girl sitting on a rocky beach, all alone except for her doll. Her hand is wounded, and she's quietly picking at it while a white truck stands ominously nearby. This scene is mysterious and gives off a feeling that something traumatic happened or is about to happen. It doesn't say much, but the mood immediately lets you know this drama isn't going to hold back when it comes to disturbing content or psychological themes. Right after that, the story jumps to a busy nightclub. A young woman, who we later find out is a forensic pathologist named Ju-hyun, is seemingly seen committing a murder in front of everyone. She violently stabs a man to death in public. But here's the twist, she's not actually the killer. That whole moment was in her imagination. She was trying to understand the killer's mindset by mentally putting herself in their shoes. This is our first clear sign that Ju-hyun isn't a typical K-drama female lead. She's got a dark imagination, and the way she tries to think like murderers is pretty unsettling. When police arrive at the crime scene to investigate the murder at the club, Ju-hyun is already involved in the case as the forensic expert. She calmly explains to the officers that the real killer clearly enjoyed the murder, suggesting they might be a drug addict or even a psychopath. She then observes the clubgoers who were present at the time of the murder. One by one, she analyzes their behavior and reactions when shown the murder weapon, a knife. Using her sharp instincts and attention to detail, she manages to figure out who the actual killer is just based on their reaction to the blade. It's a very smart and thrilling moment that showcases her brilliance, but also her detached and slightly cold personality. Meanwhile, a detective named Ju-hyun is working on a totally different case involving a stalker. He's on a stakeout with his colleague, but the colleague doesn't take it seriously. Instead, he ends up getting distracted by a small boy stealing a chocolate bar from a store. The two officers get into an argument about it right there, and in the middle of that, Ju-hyun notices the stalker they were supposed to be looking out for. He immediately gives chase but ends up losing the guy. It's a chaotic mess, and it doesn't go unnoticed. His boss scolds him afterward. Despite the trouble, Ju-hyun later makes sure the little boy gets home safely. His younger brother greets the child at the door, which is a small but meaningful moment that shows Ju-hyun's kind and responsible nature. He might be a bit clumsy or distracted, but his heart seems to be in the right place. Back in the lab, Ju-hyun is working on the body from the club. Her attitude with her coworkers is cold and distant. She's not trying to make friends, she's there to work. At the same time, we meet another character, Mr. Choi, who runs a laundromat. He seems harmless enough, just watching the news. But the news he's watching is a feature on Ju-hyun, being praised for her skills as a top forensic pathologist. This moment might seem random, but it could be important later. Mr. Choi might not be as normal as he looks. Later, while walking home, Ju-hyun stops to feed a stray cat. A woman from the neighborhood approaches her and complains that Ju-hyun is attracting too many cats and disturbing the local businesses. Instead of arguing or apologizing, Ju-hyun just gives her a terrifying death stare and walks away. This short exchange says a lot about her. She's someone who doesn't back down, and she's not afraid to intimidate people. This is also when we're shown some quick, creepy visuals. Someone is placing maggots on a dead body. It's not immediately clear who's doing this or where it's happening, but it definitely builds a chilling atmosphere. The next morning, Ju-hyun gets called to a crime scene. A dead body has been found in a field, wrapped up in plastic. It's a disturbing discovery. Ju-hyun reaches out to Ju-hyun for help, using a mutual contact to get in touch with her. He gives her the case details, explaining how the body is already rotting and hard to identify. She agrees to take on the case, diving into it with her usual clinical focus. The victim is identified as a 23-year-old woman named Lee Yeon-ju. Ju-hyun begins the autopsy and finds that one of the eyes is completely decayed, full of maggots. She also discovers that all of the girl's internal organs have been removed, except for her stomach. There's a syringe mark on her skin, and it looks like her neck was broken. These details make it clear that the killer went to great lengths, not just to kill her but also to tamper with her body in ways that don't make sense. It's not just murder, It's some sort of message. Then comes the most shocking find, a piece of red thread inside the girl's body. As soon as Se-hyun sees it, she is triggered into a flashback. It's the same memory from the beginning, a little girl on a beach with a doll, then being called towards a white truck after someone whistles. That moment seems to be tied to Se-hyun's own past, and it looks like she might have been kidnapped, or experienced some trauma when she was very young. The red thread might be a symbol connected to her own history and possibly the murderer's calling card. This is where the first episode ends, leaving us with so many questions and chills. What happened to Se-hyun as a child? Why does she act so cold and emotionless now? And how is this gruesome new case tied to her past? Episode 1 of Hunter with a Scalpel is definitely gripping. It does a fantastic job of setting the mood, introducing us to key characters, and laying the groundwork for what's likely going to be a dark and twisty story. Seo Se-hyun is a truly unique female lead. She's brilliant but emotionally cut off, with hints of something even darker hiding beneath the surface. Her habit of imagining herself in the place of murderers is both fascinating and frightening. Park Ju-hyun plays her perfectly, showing just the right mix of stoicism and barely contained madness. On the other hand, Ju-hyun is a more traditional hero type. He's responsible, brave, and clearly wants to protect people, but he's not as complex or haunting as Se-hyun, at least not yet. Still, his scenes offer a nice contrast to Se-hyun's more clinical and creepy moments. Actor Kang-hoon does a good job giving him charm and sincerity. The episode's pacing is excellent too. It starts with a mysterious flashback, then throws us into a violent murder, and ends with a decaying corpse and a personal mystery. That red thread is a brilliant storytelling hook, something symbolic that ties the present to a haunted past. The tone is mature, and the level of detail shown in the autopsy scenes might not be for the faint-hearted. It's very graphic and realistic, so viewers should be prepared. What makes this K-drama stand out from the start is how much effort it puts into building atmosphere. The background music, the cinematography, and even the cold lighting in the lab scenes add to the overall sense of unease. Every frame is designed to make you feel a little uncomfortable, and it works. As an opening episode, it doesn't give away too much, but it definitely pulls you in. It gives us just enough to get attached to the characters, worry about them, and wonder what's going to happen next. There's clearly something very deep and disturbing in Se-hyun's past that is now slowly coming back to the surface. Whether the killer is someone she's connected to or someone mimicking her trauma is yet to be revealed. But one thing's for sure, Hunter with a Scalpel is not your typical murder mystery. It's darker, smarter, and far more personal. If you're a fan of psychological thrillers, strong female leads, and gory crime mysteries, this K-drama is already showing signs of becoming your next obsession.